It's tough. You never want to see injuries happen, first and foremost. You hate it when it's to anyone, let alone, the third season-ending injury that we've seen this year. But like I told our team at halftime, look, yes, we've been dealt a crappy hand, but we got to play it.
The WNBA is back in crisis mode, and it's not because of the usual officiating mess or hard fouls. No, this one cuts deeper. Stephanie White's grim update on Sophie Cunningham's season-ending injury stunned the basketball world, and the weight in her voice made it painfully obvious. The league's repeated failures toward its players may have finally reached their limits.
The news is about to drop, so we're okay to talk about this, but I did tear my MCL. And if you're going to hurt your knee, that is like the best possible case. And so, this year, just as a whole, I think the league as a whole, but really us, we've just gone through so much adversity, and then injury-wise, it's just been you can't make this shit up, to be honest. And so, during Connecticut's game on Sunday, I was just in the paint trying to be help side, and someone ran into my knee, and it just snapped. And knee injuries are weird to me. I don't really like thinking about them, but I felt a pop right away, and so
it's gotten to the point where the truth can't be ignored. The Indiana Fever have been drowning in injuries all year, but this latest blow feels like the snap that broke the season. Their defensive cornerstone is now sidelined with a season-ending torn MCL, becoming the fourth Fever player ruled out for the rest of the 2025 run.
That play dirty in this league. It's absolutely ridiculous. These players are paying a price for Kathy Engelbert's incompetence. Doesn't seem like a fair trade-off, if you ask me. Sophie Cunningham will miss the remainder of the season after suffering an injury during our game at Connecticut on Sunday. In a corresponding move, we have signed guard Shea Petty to a 7-day hardship contract and released Kyra Lambert. Now, folks, Sophie Cunningham is out for the season. My question is, what kind of adjustments should the Indiana Fever make? What kind of adjustments does Stephanie White have at her disposal? What kind of adjustments is Stephanie White capable of to help this team make it to the finish line?
If you're liking the coverage, be sure to subscribe. Sophie Cunningham's season-ending knee injury has become the tipping point for Indiana Fever fans who've watched their supposed championship season collapse under a wave of injuries. When head coach Stephanie White confirmed that Cunningham tore her MCL against the Connecticut Sun and is done for 2025, the frustration among the fan base reached a boiling point.
Initially, the Indiana Fever didn't even report what the knee injury was. They just said that it would be season-ending. However, Alex Filippo, she reported that Sophie Cunningham did tear her MCL and that she would be out for the rest of the season, but she is expected to make a full recovery before next season. So obviously, that is good news. And when you talk about tears in your knee, an MCL is one that has a quicker recovery period for the most part than something like an ACL, or sometimes even meniscus can be longer than an MCL. A patellar tendon obviously is much more severe than all of them. So it was good news relatively, that it was an MCL and not anything more serious, and there wasn't.
That makes four Indiana Fever players officially done for the season. Sophie Cunningham now joins Ari McDonald, sidelined with a broken bone in her right foot, and Sydney Carlson, who's out with a torn ACL. And then there's the ongoing uncertainty around Caitlin Clark's groin injury, which has kept her out for over a month with no real update. It's unbelievable that a team can lose half its rotation and the WNBA's leadership still sits silent, offering nothing but hollow day-to-day cliches while the season falls apart. What a complete joke this has become.
Told you guys the day of the game that she was done for the year. Now, so everybody that was jumping in my comments like, oh, you're clickbaiting, you don't know. No, I knew it was over. I knew. So now the Indiana Fever have officially come out and let it be known. This right here is by Underdog WNBA. It says Sophie Cunningham diagnosed with torn right MCL per Chloe Peterson. And this is awful news. This is just awful. It
happened in the ugliest way possible. During Sunday's overtime battle with Connecticut, Bria Hartley barreled into Cunningham's right leg on a drive, sending her crashing to the floor. Cunningham grabbed her knee immediately, screaming in pain, a sight that has become painfully routine for Fever fans this year. Just one day after turning 29, she had to be helped off the court and did not return.
The game.
You had Sophie Cunningham, one of the best shooters, if not the best shooter, coming into the second half, shooting the lights out, right? Just absolutely dominating on that perimeter for the Indiana Fever and looking like a player that could actually help the Indiana Fever get far into the playoffs, be that X factor for them when the energy is down, they are getting blown out, or whatever the case may be. They can't even find a bucket. Sophie Cunningham was one of those players to actually get them going. And now all of a sudden, no Sophie Cunningham. I mean, I don't know how many more blows the Indiana Fever can actually take and survive, man. I mean, they done lost everybody.
4 players out for the season. Let that sink in. 4 Indiana Fever players are officially done for 2025. And Caitlin Clark is still sidelined indefinitely with a groin injury that's kept her out since July 15th. This isn't bad luck anymore. This is a systematic failure from a league that refuses to confront the escalating physicality and inconsistent officiating fueling this injury epidemic. Cunningham's loss hits even harder because she had become a vital piece of the Fever machine, averaging 8.6 points and 3.5 rebounds while shooting a career-high 46.9% from the field and a lights-out 43.2% from deep. She had been forced into a makeshift point guard role after McDonald and Carlson were lost for the season back on August 7th. And now, at the worst possible moment, the Fever have lost their defensive anchor and one of their most reliable veterans.
Good job, Bria. Now Sophie Cunningham's out for the rest of the season. Good job, Kathy Engelbert, for not checking your players, for not making sure your officials get grips on these games, for letting all types of malice behavior to take place on the court. These players feel they have the right to take cheap shots. These players feel like they have the right to dive at people's legs. And now Bria Hartley has claimed her latest victim.
The cascading impact of these injuries cannot be overstated. With Caitlin Clark still dealing with a lingering groin injury and no definitive timetable for her return, the Fever are essentially operating with a skeleton crew of what their roster was supposed to be. Sophie Cunningham even admitted on her podcast that Clark herself doesn't know when she'll be back, describing the rehab as literally a day-by-day thing, focused solely on trying to get her body ready to play again. What makes it all even more infuriating is the WNBA's total inaction. The league refuses to investigate the rising physicality. They refuse to address the officiating inconsistencies. They refuse to hold accountable the players who repeatedly make dangerous, targeted plays. Instead, they sit back and allow this pattern to continue while their biggest stars are sidelined one after another.